everybody. Welcome to Final Form, The Final Form, My Final Form. We haven't worked out a title yet. I'm Ryan Taylor. You might know me from Jedi Dropouts, Tridents and Tracers, various other podcasts. And usually this is the part where I introduce my co-host, James Moss. But James Moss is not the co-host of this podcast. So go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Ohio! I'm not going to be that kind of nerd. No, my name's Mitchell Clarke, and I'm going to be the, I guess, the pinch hitter for this channel, or whatever you want to call it.
The toe jam to my Earl, as you would.
I have never actually played that game, and I'm a Genesis snob, so yeah, that works.
So we haven't worked out the specifics on the title. Final Form is the rough idea. It could be the Final Form, could be my Final Form. You're looking at the artwork right now as you're listening to this, so I guess you know and we don't.
Ooh, artwork.
And this is an anime podcast. The interesting thing here is I don't know anime that well, so this is gonna be a bit of fun.
I'm not what you'd call a guru. But there's a joke going around of mid-level weeb. I guess that better suits me. I mean, I've got my opinions. I've watched probably more than a fair few people, but I know way more who've watched like every episode, every season. They watch every anime come out every season. This winter season, 70 new anime came out.
I would not be able to name many of those.
I actually don't know what came out this season. I'm not that big on the... I don't watch the anime when it comes out unless I already know the premise right away. Basically, I don't feel like, oh, okay, there's 70 new ones, there might be one good one in this one. No. I'll just look at the premises for boy gets sent to other world. Boy gets thrown in river. I don't know. I can't think of the one this year. But if the premise immediately jumps at me, like a young girl gets sold to slavery and learns to be a wizard.
Is that real?
That is real. That's an anime I'm watching right now.
What is that called?
It's called The Ancient Magus' Bride. It's really damn good, actually, and I'm only watching it because it's being what's known as simu-dubbed.
Okay.
When it comes out in Japan, a couple hours later, or even a day later, the English dub comes out. And Funimation is doing that, and I love Funimation for doing simu-dubs, because, yes, I am dubs over subs.
Oh.
Bring your flames and pitchforks.
The guns are out.
I can survive them. I don't know why I went pirate there.
Yeah, it happens. Man.
But, unless the premise gets me, or a couple weeks after the season's over, someone's going on like, oh, I love this show from the winter season. Well, I will go back and try and find it.
Yeah. So let's get into, I guess, what this podcast is going to be. What the purpose, the idea behind this is.
Yes, discussing mahjong.
There you go. Whatever that means.
I have no idea. I know what mahjong is, but I have no idea how to play the game.
Oh, yeah. So, the idea we're thinking here is we wanted to get together and have a chat about anime, and then when we realized that you, Mitchell, you're a big anime fan. You've watched your fair share of anime.
Yeah, I could easily make a top 50.
Okay.
But I can also make a bottom 20.
Okay.
I couldn't off the top of my head, but give me maybe 30 minutes and I'll have both for you and small summary of no.
Whereas I am, I guess, what you'd call a noob.
Yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
You watch what you watch. I mean, I would definitely describe myself as a comic noob. I enjoy what I enjoy, but I'm not gonna be the guy who goes, oh, I gotta buy all this from DC. Better make sure I'm kept up to date on all these Marvel characters. Ooh, that IDW stuff looks good. Oh, better get that Image. Ooh, Black Horse is still around.
It's impossible to keep up with.
You cannot keep up with both anime, manga, comic books, and even TV. I've pretty much given up on live-action Western TV.
Yeah?
There's nothing. I've not watched an episode of Daredevil, anything from that stuff. I used to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah.
There's just not enough days of the week to do this.
Even if you were going to narrow your focus to Marvel and DC live-action TV series, that is enough to keep your hands full. It is getting out of hand.
I wasn't even aware. I remember seeing premieres for Supergirl. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'll look at that. And I'm like, oh, it's been out for a while.
Yeah, they're a couple seasons into that.
Maybe I'll come back. No.
And I mean, this year alone, there's like Cloak and Dagger coming, and the live-action Teen Titans show is coming this year.
I will probably pick up that because I was a major fan of the animated Teen Titans show.
Yeah.
I also throw up every time I see the Teen Titans Go stuff.
Oh, yeah? Not a fan?
God. Well, they basically... one of my favorite criticisms of it, it's no longer the Teen Titans, it's the Toddler Titans. Because basically their dialogue is written for toddlers.
It's the Cartoon Network Titans, I guess.
I don't know I don't know much about Cartoon Network, but
very Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls sort of
thing. No.
Well, I mean, it's got the same look. It's got the
same look, but it certainly doesn't have the same maturity.
No.
I mean, I think maturity might be I think there's a song in that show about how maturity scares them, or something like that.
Okay.
And I'm like, you're the Teen Titans. You're supposed to be... No, they don't even fight crime.
So, as you may notice, just like Jedi Dropouts, this is going to be full of tangents.
Look, we didn't bring a roadmap, and we're going to get lost.
No, we even with the general Jedi Dropouts episodes, I usually have a big list of notes and talking points, and we have nothing in front of us right now. We're spitballing here.
Yeah. So I figured to get ourselves back on topic, I'm going to ask you, my friend.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say anime?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a very good question.
I tend to ask all my friends of what the first blank of something is to get their opinion of it.
Well, to be honest, just because this comes to mind a lot, like I'm not just going overly deep here. The first thing that comes to mind with anime is because I'm very new to watching anime. Because I was a part of the large portion of people who scoff at anime and just say, "Oh, you mean the tentacle porn shit?" I mean that's one of the very, very go-to comments, right?
Yeah.
So what pops in my head when I think anime is something that on the surface looks very childish, very weird, but below the surface, and once you really get deep into it, is a very serious and amazingly underrated art form.
That's honestly what my response would be if you asked me what my first thought of comic book is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that's the thing, is a lot of people think, oh, they're so different from each other. No, they have the same genesis. So
yeah.
There's going to be some weird moments in comic books, and I've met comic book fans instantly defend them. But when I've described some weird things in anime or manga, they're like, oh. I'm like, but you didn't get mad when I,
Yeah.
Even if you can defend your point, but then someone doesn't listen to your defense, then they weren't really interested in the first place.
Exactly. It seems like if it's a Western-based comic or TV show or movie or something like that, the defense will come from, actually, what they're trying to talk about here, or what they're referencing here.
Or it's the Silver Age. Everything in the Silver Age was weird. I'm like... Yeah, and...
But when it's anime, people just say, oh, Japan's fucking weird.
No. In fact, from what I understand, a lot of the weirdness Japan is doing right now is because it attracts Western people. If they can get into, oh, that weird thing just happened, I better find out what caused this.
Yeah.
And as a marketing scheme, it's actually ingenious.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize how much the Western influence has had on anime recently. Like, before during the 90s, when we just started getting those little weird animes, that was pure unadulterated weird Japan.
Okay.
Now, in 2010s, all the weirdness is to keep our eyes glued, because a lot of what I understand is some of those animes don't do very well in Japan.
Okay.
They're not, that's like being weird for the sake of being weird doesn't get Japanese fans to watch it.
Yeah.
Of course, that's one thing I've heard. I've heard some people argue that, but I like to think it's true, because then it means that our medias are getting more connected, and it makes it easier for us to get anime,
and
it makes them easier to get comic books, because I've heard some weird things done in comic books recently kind of have been there to get outside markets.
Okay, yeah.
And my opinion is the more we can get people to enjoy anything, is the better. I don't think anything should be walled off by elitism, or I was here first, I'm the fan who gets his needs taken care of first. No, I'm sorry. No. You may, unless you are Bill Gates rich. No. Other people have money too.
What is funny to me though is when it comes to when you talk about comic books and anime and things like that. I mean, yeah, there's the general public who look at that as childish and
trying to explain to someone how mature The Killing Joke is.
Yeah,
we'll go over their head, and they're like, "I've already got my established thoughts."
Yeah,
the same thing happens with cartoons in general.
Yes,
how many people still say, "Oh, all cartoons for kids"? Plop their kid in front of Family Guy.
Exactly.
My response to that is no. There's also the whole all cartoons for adults must be comedies.
Yeah,
that doesn't be true either. No. I mean, a lot of my favorite cartoons were written for kids, but they're so mature in handling things, they really could have been marketed to adults easily. Yeah. And that's the same with anime. Not all anime is... You can't put anime in one box and then be done with it. I mean, I still watch animes aimed at 7 to 10-year-olds, and I've also got a fair few collection of anime aimed at people my actual age.
Yeah.
I mean, I can happily go from Plucky Young Kid Saves the World to an existential bar that represents purgatory. That's another anime I'm not actually making up. It's called Death Parade. It's wonderful.
That sounds fantastic.
It really is. It's basically... I just gush about it. It's basically when you die, afterlife is a bar where you play a minigame. How you handle this minigame, the bartender sends you to heaven or hell.
Huh.
Yeah. And you have to play it with someone you don't know.
This is bizarre.
It's bizarre. But
how? What's the length was?
12 episodes.
12 episodes?
12 or 13.
See, this is something I want to get into real quick.
I really recommend. It's a nice, short anime. It's not too deep, but it can be deep when you decide to stop and think. Like most things I like to think of is they basically show you a kiddie pool, but when you actually stop and think about it, no, that can be as deep as the ocean. And it's a show a friend of mine got me into, and he got me into it because the opening is just so damn lively and energetic.
Okay.
It's a jazzy kind of song, and I have a soft spot for jazz kind of styling. So here's this light, upbeat jazz song, and then cut to basically an emotionless bartender judging two people. And then games can be anything from playing bowling with your heart.
Oh.
Basically, your heart is in the bowling ball, so you feel your heart.
Fuck. Okay.
So and if your heart flares up, the bowling ball kind of rocks back and forth. And
wow.
To playing darts, where every time you hit the dartboard, you hurt the person you're playing against. Depending on, like, if you hit the bullseye, you hit a really sensitive spot on the body, like the eye stem.
Okay, this is to jump into the top of my list.
I really do recommend it. The dub is also really good. Basically, it's really hard to come across a good character who's supposed to be emotionless and cold, but still is human. And the dub for Deckard, the main character, does it so well, in my opinion, that you can hear that underneath his cold exterior that he's curious. He wants to understand humans a bit better, and he's fascinated by how they react to life and death. And that's why I've always been more of a fan of anime, because when they can do stuff like that, they're not really terrified of, will this catch on? Well, we only need to make 12 episodes to fill this slot, so go right ahead. And that's the thing. I love when people are allowed to experiment. Let the inmates run the asylum every now and then. And to bring this right back to comic books, it's why comic books and comic book movies. It's why I love Thor Ragnarok so much. They let that was an insane movie where I guarantee you nobody on the board of directors goes, yeah, this is all tested and the charts say people will like this. To quote the nostalgia critic, well, you got what the chart says. No, nobody's basically play tested that. No, that movie was just someone had a vision. They let him have that vision, and I don't know any people who don't like that movie.
No, I haven't come across any.
I know one or two, but that's because they got a different sense of humor. And
okay.
If a joke doesn't get you, a joke doesn't get you, and if the entire movie is a joke, you don't get.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point.
From what most people I know got the jokes. I mean, I know people who still quote "Piss off, Ghost."
That is my favorite fucking part of that movie. Yeah,
it's pretty much everyone's favorite part of the movie. But my favorite part is not very useful unless you're staking 3 vampires and they're all huddled together. Because I looked at a lot of like weapons in fiction, and I'm going, who designs that?
Yeah.
And then they just point out not very useful. I'm like, thank you, just thank you.
To take it back a bit here, one thing I love that anime does that Western television movies, well, television really is the main thing here. That never does. Okay, when it comes to Western television, they always try and make a show with, as long a run as possible in mind. Like, they want to keep this going as long as possible, but they never really get that far. Like,
no.
So you get a strong first season, an okay second season, and then a couple seasons that fizzles out.
Yeah.
That's like most of it.
Yeah.
Whereas anime, yes, there's the two sides. These are the episodes, this is how many, this is the number, and no more, no less.
Yep.
And then there's this will never end.
Insert One Piece joke here.
Exactly. One Piece.
It's up to, I think, nearly 2,000 episodes?
There you go.
I don't know. I don't like One Piece. I know it celebrates 1,000th episode, and I'm like, good for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, some people would argue some of my animes went on for too long. I mean, I loved Bleach.
Okay.
And it's got to be 12 seasons, and then one arc in the manga we never got animated. So that's a bit on the extreme side, considering each season can be anywhere from 20 to 30 episodes.
Yeah.
For me, it did get a little repetitive, but it didn't get bad. But if it gets bad for you fast, well, no, it's not going to rock the boat very much and change itself. And unless you are there for the whole ride,
Yeah.
But most animes I do love are at most 50 episodes. 50 to 52 seems to be that magic number of 2 seasons, we're done. And the anime series that has first introduced me to that is actually the reason why I'm pretty much still an anime fan. Gundam.
Okay.
Gundam has almost always been 50 episodes every few years. We have a new Gundam. 25 episodes for season 1, 25 episodes for season 2. We're done. You might get a movie. We're moving on to the next Gundam.
Yeah. Gundam is something I've wanted to dive into, and I have no idea where to start.
Well, the thing is, the best way to describe Gundam is, you know how Star Wars has timelines in it? Like, there's Before the Republic, the Republic, the Fall of the Republic, the Empire, after the Empire. That's basically like that. Gundam kind of does that. Only difference is these different timelines are not connected.
Okay.
Gundam Wing belongs in the After Colony timeline.
Okay.
There was only Gundam Wing in After Colony. Nothing else is connected to After Colony. Okay. Gundam 00, one of my favorite animes ever, is in the AD timeline, Omni Domino. It takes place roughly a couple hundred years from us. It's the more... But only it exists in its timeline. Meanwhile, there is... I forget the name of the time. It's going to bug me now. I think it's the UC timeline?
Okay.
That's the one where all the OG Gundams are actually together. Gundam Zeta, Gundam Double Zeta, recently Gundam Unicorn, and there's a whole bunch of little sprinklings here and there part of that timeline. But
do you say Gundam Unicorn?
Yes.
That's a real thing?
That's a real thing.
Okay.
It's actually pretty damn good. It's the first Gundam that really decided to use CGI for the mecha, and that's a topic I'm going to get into later. I guarantee you there's an episode in there. But it's really good. It's basically the end of that timeline. It's the last one in its timeline. The title doesn't quite sound in line with the other. From what I've heard, every Gundam title has a very mechanized sci-fi sounding title. Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. No, it's called Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. But there's also Mobile Suit Gundam Seed, Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny. Not all the names are great.
No.
Seed and Seed Destiny are kind of one of those Gundam series where I say skip them.
Okay.
They're not very good. They're not the worst in the Gundam series, but they're not very good. But they're extremely popular because the animation is really damn good. It's my favorite Gundam series to mute.
Okay.
I will watch it mute. Because when those mech fights go off, I forget the story. Yeah. So I might unmute it for that. Okay. But when they start talking during the middle of the fight, I'm like, oh, shut up, you guys. I don't care.
So, just to cap off the quick little Gundam tangent, if I'm just going to sit down and watch a series of Gundam, where should I start? Because I have no idea.
I started with Mobile Suit Gundam Wing.
Okay,
that's where I started.
That was the really popular one.
That is why I'm an anime fan. I can trace all my anime love back to Gundam Wing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, technically I could trace it back to Samurai Pizza Cats, but I didn't know that was anime at the time. Much like I didn't know Pokemon was anime at the time.
Yeah.
I just watched it. It was a good cartoon. It was funny. And it was. But Gundam Wing, I distinctly remember YTV using the term anime.
Okay.
And I didn't know what that meant. But my best memory of Gundam Wing is it came on at like 10:30 our time, and my bedtime was 9. So I had a TV in my room.
Yep.
Turn off all the lights, put the volume to like 1, sit close to the TV, and get blown away. I also remember that's when I got a VCR because my parents found out I was doing that. So I'd record it, and of course I recorded it, but I stayed up and watched it anyway because I could not put it down. And while Gundam Wing is no longer my favorite of the Gundam series, it's still my favorite in terms of suit design, the actual robots. It still has my favorite suits as a whole. There might be a few, 2 or 3 later on I like more, but there's no bad suit in it. Gundam 00 is my personal favorite. I can point to 5 or 6 mechs where I'm like, oh god, that's hideous. Why would you fly that?
Yeah.
You would not pay me enough to fly that giant robot. But it also has one of my favorite machines ever, so I'm like, yeah, okay, we're ended up. But if you like Wing, 00 is often considered by fans to be a spiritual successor taking place. It was, well, actually it's 10 years old now. Jeez, but I recommend Wing as your first place to start. 00 is your next place, and if you've got if it's hooked you by then, then I recommend going back to the original series. Yeah. Which surprisingly, despite it was dubbed in the 80s, that dub is actually really damn good if you can find the original dub, which was done by Ocean's Group, which Ocean Group did a lot of the early dubs for most anime, and a lot of those guys are still in acting in general. Okay. So you might hear a couple of voices that you might recognize or will recognize later on. Yeah. A lot of the guys who started off in Gundam stayed with Gundam for ages. It wasn't until 00 that they started really getting new voice actors, and the newest one, Iron Blood Orphans, has pretty much no returning cast. It's all done by Funimation now, so it has Funimation staff. So I'm basically gone from I know that guy from Gundam to I know that guy from Bleach or from Death Note or
So the next thing I was going to get into, but you basically already did, was our personal history with anime.
Like I said, the first anime I know I watched was Samurai Pizza Cats, which I want to do a retrospective on that one of these days because it's hilarious, but only in if you had to have been there to love it. Okay. It's basically like if you show Animaniacs to a kid of today, they're like, I don't get that reference. Yeah. I don't blame them. You're not from that time.
No, of course.
But it's still really good and still pretty well animated. I do have a lot of memories of Pokemon. Like anybody from the West, you couldn't avoid Pokemon, even if you didn't like it.
No, Pokemon was.
I didn't know Digimon was an anime. I didn't know Dragon Ball Z was until I started watching Gundam Wing, and the same thing with Sailor Moon. I didn't realize it until that was, and I could realize that that's why their art styles have so many similarities. They're from wherever anime is from.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Japan. Hey, did you know video games were from Japan too? I was that kid.
Yeah.
Like 7 or 8, figuring that out. Like, oh, I'm the world's greatest detective for figuring that out. Then again, we didn't have the internet, and when we did have internet, oh god, poor bass dial-up.
Yeah, I hear you there.
I distinctly remember getting dial-up when I started to watch anime, which is when a lot of people our generation.
Okay, yeah. Similar time frames, for sure.
Similar time frames, and the introduction to fanfic. Thanks to anime, and not being able to determine what was fanfic and what was being reported on, because
oh my god,
I distinctly remember finding out there was going to be a season of Dragon Ball Z where the guys fight gargoyles or something like that, but it was written so well and it was on an official website, and me and my buddy didn't know it was a fanfiction, and the website wasn't advertising it was a fanfiction. They were advertising it next to the Boo Saga, which they had stills of because it already aired in Japan, and we thought, oh, okay, this is going to be what happens after Majin Buu. And the site tricked us. And that was pretty much my life lesson of don't trust the internet wholeheartedly, kids.
Yeah. You learn at a young age.
Yeah. Some people still haven't learned it.
No. What are you talking about?
But yeah, it's thanks to anime that I've really developed the way I am. It taught me so many life lessons, way more than a lot of Western shows do it, and that's one of the reasons why I was so hooked on it as a kid, because it was a lot more mature than the stuff we got on YTV. I imagine some of the stuff they got on Cartoon Network and Kids WB was better, but we didn't get everything from those, so a lot of touchstones, part of people's lives, I missed out on.
Yeah.
I mean, I was that boy who legitimately watched every episode of Sailor Moon for like 4 or 5 seasons.
I don't think I followed as long as you did, but at the time of release, Sailor Moon was the one I stuck to even more so than Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys will finally now admit that.
Yeah.
But no, I legitimately stuck with both of them until, I want to say when Dragon Ball Z ended. That's kind of when I fell out with Sailor Moon, but that was more to the show's stagnation than anything else. But like we said, shows can go on way too long.
Yeah.
But the thing is, at least when an anime goes on for long, they always try to do a proper ending to it, unless it ratings bombs like nobody's business.
Yeah.
But I can even think of a few shows that rating bombed that still the studios gave them enough of, okay, you're not going to have your full 50 episodes, you got 30.
Okay.
They'll still go, okay, we've got to end this show. We don't want to leave it on a cliffhanger or leave it on episode 30 and say, maybe if you guys watch it, you get episode 50, because there's nothing worse than a show ending without actually ending.
Yeah.
I guarantee you can list 4 or 5 Western shows you watch where they ended one season on a cliffhanger and never came back.
Yep.
I haven't watched it. Apparently, Firefly didn't end in a satisfactory way.
Well, no. I think Firefly ended on the perfect note for a first season, but
it only had 1 season though. Yeah. That's so much of a new for Firefly. I thought it had 2 seasons.
No, Firefly got 1 season of I can't remember. I think it's 12 or 13 episodes.
That's
Firefly is very short.
Yeah, it's pretty damn short.
Yeah.
I thought it had like 24 episodes.
No.
I might be getting confused with another show, but like I said, I have never watched it, but I haven't had time to. I've been too busy trying to figure out, how does that mech work? Yeah, I'm also the guy who, when watches anime, will try and deconstruct it when he's done watching it. Yeah. I'm still deconstructing my favorite anime to this day, and I will sit giddy until the 3rd season comes out. We weren't sure they announced Code Geass getting season 3. I can't wait.
That's another one I need to watch.
As it's my favorite anime, I recommend watching it, but I don't think you should watch it right away.
Okay.
It's from Sunrise, the guys who made Gundam, and there are some Gundam tropes in it.
Okay.
So being able to identify them does kind of help. You can still watch it right now. Yeah, if anyone's listening and going, I want to watch this Code Geass show, I've probably heard so much about it, go ahead and watch it.
Yeah.
Watch whatever version you want. I still recommend the dub. There's actually a funny story I heard where there's a Japanese version somewhere circling around where they cut out the main character's laughter and put the English dub laughter instead. Because Johnny Young Bosch's manic laughter for the main character.
Oh, Johnny Young Bosch is
okay. Johnny Young Bosch is the main character in that series, just like he's the main character from Bleach. And a lot of people say, "Oh, his Lelouch sounds so much like Ichigo." I'm like, I don't hear it. No. He's using the same voice. Okay, his tone is different, and that's the thing. A lot of people harp on for anime in the West is that they don't really change their voice. But the thing is, if you can change the tone, it becomes a different character.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Lelouch is definitely a different character. As he's a character who wears multiple masks, he has to have a lot of tones, but has to have an easy voice for Bosch to do. And I'm guessing his Ichigo voice is just easier to do for the Bosch.
Okay, yeah, the Bosch.
I don't remember who said that first. I'm like, I'm going to call him the Bosch.
Oh, man. So I'm going to quickly run through the anime that I have seen, because it is a very short list.
All right.
Obviously, as you said, growing up in Canada, the main our what's the word I'm looking for? Introduction, I guess. Our introduction to anime here was the I'm stuttering all over the place. Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, the late 90s...
Trifecta, I would call it.
Yeah.
Those were the juggernauts. Some would argue Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon belong in that category, but I don't know that there are a lot of people who didn't watch those two.
I watched Digimon. I even went to see the... neighbor's making some racket there. I even went to see the first movie when that came out in the Grandview Cinema. Yeah. But I don't remember a whole lot about Digimon.
No, I honestly remember more of it than Pokemon, but that's just because the Pokemon games were better, the Digimon games were crap. The Pokemon anime was crap, the Digimon anime was good. Well, no, the Pokemon anime was not crap.
It's not like I enjoyed it at the time, but it's not like I've gone back and I'm like, no thanks. Not a.
I've tried and rewatched some of it, and it does still hold its magic in some places, but the really early episodes are so quirky that I'm like, skip.
So when those all came out, I was big on it.
Yeah,
but I had, like you said, I had no idea what anime it was. It was not on my radar at all.
No.
And as I've said on Jedi Dropouts, I was not really that geeky in my junior high school years. Looking back, I realized I had the geeky mindset, but my focus was music.
You were a band geek, I'm going to call you then.
Yeah, exactly. But now that I have it wasn't even that long after high school that I dove into comics and back into video games, and obviously anime was,
it's adjacent.
Yeah. I'll tell you exactly when I decided to get back into anime. I was trying to broaden my my knowledge of sci-fi films. So you know where this is going already.
I think I do, yeah.
And I was looking at greatest sci-fi films of all time lists, and I kept seeing Akira. So I was like, okay, I'll give this one a shot. I'll give it a...
Yeah.
And holy fucking shit, what a movie.
I don't remember much about Akira, actually. No? It's one of those things where basically someone's, it's a cultural touchstone, and someone in the group I don't remember it very well.
No?
And I do remember enjoying it when I watched. I don't know if enjoy is the right word for Akira.
No.
I do remember being sucked into it when it was going on, but I've never come back to it like I have other things. Like, a lot of other people put Ghost in the Shell on the top sci-fi next to Akira, and that definitely has more of an impact on me than Akira.
Okay.
I should actually get back into that because I've heard some mixed things about the live-action movie. I've heard it's better than the Death Note live-action movie, but that's not very hard.
No, that's a low bar.
Well, the only thing I know that's worse than the Death Note live-action movie is the Dragon Ball live-action movie.
Dragon Ball Evolution?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? That was amazing.
Most people I know, if you held a gun to their head and said, pick one, they'll pick Death Note in a millisecond.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought Justin Chadwick made a very convincing Goku.
Giku.
Oh?
Giku. I think that's what the boys call him, Giku.
I see.
I can remember that because I'm a big fan of the Dragon Ball Z Abridged series, and Goku got hit once. So he's like, I think I got hit in the head too hard because I was in high school and my friends kept calling me Giku. I couldn't get Chi-Chi to notice me. I think I have brain damage.
I think your first sign is having a guy named Justin play Goku. I think that is probably where you went wrong.
Look, I understand you want to pick actors you have, which unfortunately is going to be white bros for a Western movie. That's not my biggest problem. If the actor is good, the actor is good.
Yeah.
But you are going to have to explain that elephant somewhere.
Oh my god.
You cannot ignore that elephant.
No.
That elephant will sit there the entire time, and for most of your fans, he will be blocking the view.
Yep.
So explain it, or get a better cast.
So, I watched Akira, I fell in love with Akira.
Oh, yeah.
And I still didn't dive into anime at that point.
No, I mean...
and a couple years later... Actually, I'm just trying to think what the time frame is here on that. I fairly recently, within the last couple of years, I decided to finally sit down and watch some anime, and I have now watched, and it's a very short list, Cowboy Bebop, which is fucking incredible. I watched the Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
I got into some Miyazaki, and I watched My Neighbor Totoro. Ponyo, Howl's Moving Castle, a few others. I haven't watched the big ones. I haven't watched Princess Mononoke. I haven't watched Spirited Away.
My favorite of his work is actually Kiki's Delivery
Oh,
Service.
yeah?
That was just so cute.
I've heard good things about
It's
that.
just really nice to enjoy. That's the only one I recommend people watch. Princess Mononoke can be kind of... It's big.
Yeah.
You gotta be in the mood for it.
We should really look at doing just like a Studio Ghibli. Ghibli? Is it?
Ghibli, I think it's called.
Ghibli?
Look, it's one of those things where it's potato.
Yeah, okay.
There is a proper way to pronounce it, but I've heard so many people mispronounce it that I'm confused too.
We should look at doing an episode just focused on the...
Yeah, I actually haven't watched a lot of Ghibli stuff in a long time. He was never the director that really sinked into me.
Okay.
But when I like his stuff, I loved his stuff.
Yeah.
He's not the juggernaut he is for me. I'll get into who the anime manga juggernaut for me is.
Okay.
Who's pretty much the Stan... Well, he actually makes Stan Lee look like a creative noob.
Okay.
I'm just going to name drop him. Shitori Ishimori.
I know that name.
You should, because he's made pretty much everything.
Which one is this again?
His most famous work of pure anime manga is Cyborg 009.
Okay.
However, you know him best for being the father of Super Sentai, aka Power Rangers,
yes.
aka he's also the grandfather of the father of Kamen Rider. So everything in that area is usually a tribute to him. He's got a lot of work under his pages, and he's also done some random things, like I got for one Christmas the Link to the Past manga. Look down in the bottom corner, art by Shitori Ishimori. I'm like,
really?
Oh my god! I think he's like double Stan Lee's creative license.
Wow.
Like, what credits?
That's unreal.
Yeah, I know. And when you find that out, that some guy beat Stan Lee at something in creative terms, although much like Stan Lee, a lot of people will say, "Oh, all of his stuff is so similar." I'm like, yeah, but he was a master at making it.
And then if you take into consideration how much of Stanley's stuff should really be credited to Jack Kirby.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I looked into Ishimori's work too, the same thing would happen.
Well, yeah.
But he's basically the artist more than Stan. Like Stan, he was the artist or anything else. And while Hayao Miyazaki's ideals don't speak to me, like he has an ideal of how evil persists itself. Ishimori's idea of evil is what stuck to me better. Miyazaki thinks evil is.
Okay.
Evil is just something that's going to happen on its own. Ishimori is, regardless of evil, that does not define your life. A lot of Ishimori's characters start off being built by the bad guy to be evil.
Yeah.
And their own unique humanity breaks them free. And it's basically him against the evil organization that built him. That's pretty much, I've summed up like 80% of Ishimori's work and almost all of the original Kamen Rider, which is another series we'll come back to later, even though it's not anime and manga. That's my jam right now. Yeah. But that's basically one of the things I've realized about anime is that creators can have a theme and a motif and a philosophy, and they can run with it. And one of my favorite things to do is to watch philosophy videos about anime.
Okay.
And some go really damn deep. Like Full Metal Alchemist has a really deep philosophy. The artist, I forget what point she was trying to get with Full Metal Alchemist. It's going to bug me now, but it also deals with how she deals with truth and humanity and the nature of evil.
Okay.
And the nature of revenge is also a thing she really dives into deep in Full Metal Alchemist. And again, topic for later.
Yeah.
We could definitely do a Full Metal Alchemist topic. I mean, I can do a topic on just manga versus the original adaptation of the show versus Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Which
and I don't know anything.
Another recommendation: start with the original animation, then go to Brotherhood.
Okay.
Just for pacing issues. That's my thing. If you go with Brotherhood, it's harder to go backwards. Not impossible, but it's basically like. It hasn't come out yet, but I'm pretty sure if your first Marvel movie is going to be Marvel's Infinity War coming up, and that's your first Marvel movie, and then you go back to Iron Man 1, I imagine there's going to be a couple of hurdles.
Actually, I ran into that not that long ago. I cannot remember which one. It was like somewhere in Phase 2. I wanted to watch a movie.
Yeah.
And Charlotte doesn't really follow him. She's seen a handful of movies, but she doesn't really follow it. And I was watching it, and then she was just like, "Okay, wait, well, what's the backstory here?" And I was like, Wait, what do you mean? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it seems so simple when you're watching it on screen, and then you realize, oh wait, it's because those other 10 movies.
Yeah, exist.
You know.
But the thing is, if you're into that universe, you're riding that wave. But then you stop and realize, oh yeah, some of these things they're referencing are just for us for watching this song. It's our reward. It's like we came for a good time, we got a good time, and then we got a cookie as well.
Yeah.
That's why I like the Marvel movies so much, is that I don't have to watch every one of the series. I have not watched Captain America movie, but I don't need to. Cap is easily explained in the movies he's in.
Yep, that's true.
And if they don't explain him, he just runs in, and you don't have time to stop and think about him usually. You just kind of run in and follow him.
Yeah.
I still find him bland as all hell, but I can still run with him.
I'm still going to argue he's not the most interesting character, but I think overall, he has the best trilogy of movies.
Yeah, but the thing is,
I mean,
if the trip is fun but the car is falling apart, you're not going to have a good car trip, I think.
Yeah.
That's why I have not watched the Cap movies.
Okay, that's fair.
And I understand that I'm missing out on, what is it, essentially Avengers 2.5 or Avengers 1.5?
Oh, the
Civil War.
Yeah.
But I can just watch those scenes.
Yeah.
Which I may or may not have done.
For more in-depth conversation on the Marvel movies and maybe some debates on Civil War, check out the Jedi Dropouts MCU rankings episode. Gonna throw in a plug there.
What? Plugging this show?
Oh yeah,
professional.
Yeah, you gotta plug.
I kind of want to come back one day and give my top fives to all the ones I've missed for you guys, because I usually could do that, but as I don't remember them off the top of my head right now, that might be a Jedi Dropouts catch-up episode.
Yeah.
Ooh, the filler episode to go back on anime. But yeah, I can.
There's a handful of other anime I've watched. I watched because again, short list.
Yeah.
I think I've already covered all the feature length.
Yep.
That's it.
That's fine.
I've also watched Trigun.
Oh yes, that's a good one.
Really enjoyed Trigun.
That's also starring Johnny Young Bosch.
Yes.
I think that's his first anime role, and he nails Vash.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, I love Vash.
I watched Tokyo Ghoul.
I've heard that one's good. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
That was a lot of fun. Very short. Another one of those, like, this is 12 episodes.
Yeah, it's starting at, I think it has 2 seasons now?
I believe so.
Yeah. I got a friend who's big into it, and I'm like, I will watch that later after I get through... Oh dear, the list keeps getting longer.
Yeah. The only issue with Tokyo Ghoul is the very, very end of that first season is... It gets to the point where, like, yes, now this is an anime I want to watch, and then it's over.
Oh, the build-up was... Oh, wow. The build-up was 12 episodes. What the hell?
Well, like, the first 12 episodes, it's a great story. The
Yeah.
voice acting is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I've heard.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know if there's anything else that I've watched. I think we might be at the end of that list.
To be fair, that's actually a fairly strong list. It hits a lot of the notes most people would say are mandatory.
Yeah.
Ironically, I have not hit some of those mandatories because I'm the guy who decides to go off on his own beaten path. Not because the beaten path, I don't want to follow the path because, the path is too mainstream. No, I'm just the guy who goes, ooh, I get distracted by that shiny light.
Yeah, there you go.
I have a niche. It's mecha. I will watch almost every mecha I can come across, but in the last 5-6 years, I'll look at the premise of a mecha before I just plop it in because I've watched so many forgettable ones.
I guess looking back, I've never really watched any mecha.
And that actually is really important in anime because it's one of the longest running genres. It's basically like saying, I've read a lot of comic books, but I've never actually watched anything with a detective in it. I've read anything with a detective in it. And the thing is, you can point out that, a lot of the comics don't have detectives in it, but they're so prevalent in the whole other genre itself. I mean, that would basically mean you have not read Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
And Batman is like, basically, Gundam and Batman basically stand on pillars in West and Eastern popularity.
Yeah. 100%.
I would not be surprised in a couple of years we decide to build a 10-story tall Batman statue to fight the 10-story Gundam statue in Japan, which is an anime I would watch of a giant mecha Batman fighting a Gundam.
Speaking of Batman and anime, when is it Ninja Batman? Is that what it's called? That's getting released fairly soon.
Yes,
isn't it? I know that the early reviews are coming in, and people are saying it is the single greatest animated DC film ever made.
If I don't think they'll be anywhere near as close as my personal DC movie / animated movie, Mask of the Phantasm.
Good choice. Yeah.
That one I can watch till the end of time.
Yeah.
I think it's actually in my top 3 movies ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will put it there next to Empire Strikes Back. And,
wow. That's completely fair.
Yeah, it's mostly for that soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
That gothic haunting soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I wish DC would just realize maybe we should stick with animated stuff and make that the silver screen stuff.
Well, this is more of a Jedi Dropouts conversation, but my take on it is I wish DC would learn from their animated. I think they can do live action, but they're trying to be Marvel when they should be themselves.
Yes, they look. Going back to, and we can pick this back to anime, is just because you fit in that genre does not mean you have to fit in everyone else's expectations. Everyone expects a live action movie about a comic book to be realistic. But what does that mean?
Yeah.
It's Superman would destroy all those buildings realistically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't want to see that.
No.
We just want, the character to feel real. And that's one of the things I love about so many good animes is they can go to ancient feudal Japan, for example, and still feel like a Joe Blow from the street, even though I've never been to Japan and never met Joe-san. But also I've never watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, but that's one I need to get to.
That's also on my list.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. Realistic can be done, I find, really easily with animated, but people keep thinking it has to be done with people on screen. But talk to an anime fan and ask them how real some of their favorite characters feel to them and how flesh and blood they would be.
Yep.
And then ask them, how real do you think Ben Affleck's terrible Batman was?
We disagree on that, but
I just hate him as a human being.
Oh no, he's a piece of shit. He's a terrible person.
I also don't think he can act, but that's just me. That and that image of sad Batman in the rain.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no.
They keep making. DC wants to make set pieces.
Yeah. And
they should take a lesson from their animated universe where there's a scene. I don't even like Superman that much, but there's a scene where Superman and Batman are in the Batmobile drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Will that ever happen in DC animated in DC live action universe?
I
guarantee you no.
No.
But in that scene, they're sitting there and just having a conversation.
Yeah. I think the main thing they should be taking from it is they're trying to build a cinematic universe. And I don't think a DC cinematic universe is ever really going to work. The animated movies, you get one shot, this is the story, these are the characters.
Enjoy it.
Yes, and I think that's the way DC should make their movies.
Yeah.
Here's a director, here's a cast, here's a story.
And then maybe later on make the Justice League movie after you've had all these standalones one-shots.
Yeah.
And if that works,
yeah,
then you can try and, duct tape them together.
Yeah. And if Gal Gadot wants to keep playing Wonder Woman, sure, have her in those movies.
I'll admit she was damn good in the Wonder Woman movie.
I've seen that. She was. It doesn't mean you need to strictly have the exact same cast for this big fucking universal tie-in.
Look, Marvel took 10 years to get where they are, and they have stumbled. They are not flawless as a lot of fans say they are.
No.
They have stumbled, they have tripped. I mean, think of the Hulk movie they did.
I like that movie.
It's not a bad movie, but it's not a great movie.
It's no Thor the Dark World.
I still think Thor the Dark World is better.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? On second thought, I don't think we're going to do this podcast.
Tune back later when we actually do a live stream of us fist fighting.
Yeah.
Because I will defend Thor the Dark World.
But the thing is, if two co-hosts of an anime podcast fist fight, how many episodes till we actually hit each other?
We have to give a time scale about that.
We've got to take at least 5 to 6 episodes of just flexing our muscles and screaming at the top of our lungs in an intense stare.
And we also need to get all our friends to have reaction shots of our screaming. And the most important thing is when we actually do hit each other, we need to flashback to our origin stories.
There you go.
And when one of us dies, we have to redeem themselves in everyone's eye with the flashback.
Oh.
Which, considering my girth, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be the one who dies.
Okay. I think that is a strong note to end on.
Yeah, definitely anime. That's a strong point to end on everything.
Yeah, here we go. Tune in to next week where we'll just be screaming at the top of our lungs for an hour.
I will reveal my secret technique in the next episode. Mitchell's secret technique.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I love you, Dragon Ball Z, but god damn it, some of your and Dragon Ball Super. Sometimes your ending titles, like next time, ruin the next episode. Even Super does it. I was watching Super and it says, "Next time, who will win the tournament? Next time, the winner of the tournament." I'm like, thanks, thanks, good work, Super. A+.
Okay, well, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much.
Thank both of you for listening.
Ooh, we got two people. Well, unless one of them, collapsed dead at the computer.
Well, I mean, that's.
Look! If anyone collapsed out of boredom from the show, I will try and find the Dragon Balls for you.
Hey, those are just the ups and downs of podcasting. Okay, people collapse sometimes.
I was unaware podcasting had ups.
Okay, that was a lie, but don't tell them that, okay? Thanks for listening. You can always check out, as of right now, the one episode of Final Form, or in the future, if you're listening to this in like a year's time, there will be other episodes, hopefully. Maybe. Yeah.
If this show seemed back and forth too much for you, please let us know. We can try and rein ourselves in.
Yep.
Keyword here is try, despite what Master Yoda tells you. Trying is more important than doing. I hate that moment. No, I don't hate that moment.
No, it's a bit of a learning process here. Because, number one...
I'm new here.
Yes. Number two, whereas with Jedi Dropouts, me and James have known each other a very long time, we barely know each other.
No, I think this might be the first time we've met in ages?
Yeah, it's been a good, I would say, at least 10 years.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we were vague acquaintances at most.
At most, yes.
Yeah. So this is the...
If this episode is terrible because we don't have very good chemistry, blame James. He's the one who kind of introduced us because of this show. It's all his fault.
Plus, he's not here to defend himself.
Look at that coward.
Okay, you can check out other episodes of the podcast myself and James Moss do over at www.jedidropouts.podbean.com, not .com. You can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast because it's too many places to name out, and I usually forget a couple.
I don't blame you. I mean, last week you forgot about the whole gramophone you set out.
Gramophone? I did. And we don't have a sign-off yet. As with all of the podcasts that I do, we don't have a fucking sign-off.
Look, if we knew what our next episode was going to be, I guess that would be our sign-off. So for now, our sign-off will be, bye, everybody!
Tune in to... what is it?
The Final Form.
Next time on Final Form. The next episode of Final Form.
We are calling the next episode the next episode. I don't care what our topic is, that's what we're calling it.
Later.